applications and full stack development. His expertise spans data analysis and machine learning. And he began his journey at Data Science Nigeria as a research intern, rapidly advancing to roles such as data analyst and machine learning engineer. Now at Equalize AI, he leads AI-driven applications and projects, driving innovation and impactful solution. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Lanre to resume his class. I hope you have a great time. Lanre, over to you.
Please confirm you can hear me, everyone.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hello. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Toby, for that wonderful introduction. So because of time, we have just 1 hour 30 minutes to cover quite a lot. So I'm going to be presenting my screen now. So just kindly confirm you can see my screen. Okay, I will need, a voice confirmation because I can't really see my screen.
Once it's up, I'll let you know.
Okay. All right, so you can see it now. Can you see it now?
No, we can't see your screen.
The screen is not up.
Oh, you can't see my screen. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought I was sharing my screen. Sorry about that. So can you see it now?
All right, yeah, it's perfect.
Yes, we can. It's perfect now.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I hope you guys are ready to jump right into it. I know that there's a bit of excitement around this topic. It's a quite a lot, a very big space. All right, fast evolving and emerging, space in the field of the AI. All right, so we can't really touch everything, but I assure you that if you can listen and you can take note into this aspect of here. First thing, agentic. You have an agent that is doing something for you, executing a task for you. Basically, they are tasking your database and fetch some information from a database because it doesn't know your database. But you can create an agent that can go into your database, fetch some information, send that information to a particular email. Get a response when somebody reply and send the reply back to you. You can create an agent that can do that for you. ChatGPT can do that for you. All right. So that's one of the benefits of agentic AI, and which we're going to be learning some of it today. All right. And like I said, it's a frontier of intelligent system. So we're going to be touching quite, some few things today. And the first part is the overview, artificial intelligence and agentic AI. So I'm just going to touch a bit about artificial intelligence. Please just confirm you can still hear me. Hello? If you can speak, that will really help me.
Go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Gideon. Okay. So artificial intelligence and agentic AI. So what is agentic AI? I gave you an overview the other time, but I'm just going to define it, here. Agentic AI refers to advanced AI system capable of reasoning, decision making. They are capable of reasoning things out of your prompts and understanding, okay, I need to do this to achieve this. If I can get this, I will put this thing together and I'll get my results. All right. It's not just prompts and results. It's prompt reasoning and results. All right. That is that is where agentic AI plays. All right, that's the space they play. Prompt, you and they give you results. So they are able to complete quite a lot of complicated tasks. All right, because they can reason what to do as long as you have give them the tools to use with. Oh, when you are at the farm, make sure you cut this particular grass. When you are done, okay, bring all the animals into it. All right, feed them. When you're done, take them back to the creek. I mean, you give that steps and they're able to execute it. All right, so agentic AI refers to advanced AI system capable of reasoning, decision making, and using tools autonomously in real world tasks. All right, they can use tools. Like I said, they can create your database. All right, they can solve the internet websites. All right, they can do quite a lot of things. All right, and they can be multimodal. Okay, you can communicate with them with speech, you can communicate with them with text. They can communicate back to you in video, image, depending on what you want. All right, why large language models like GPT excel at generating text, like what I said earlier, they lack memory and real-time interaction capabilities. All right, I want to know what is in my database now. All right, I want to analyze all those things. I want to get the result. I want to put it on Excel sheets. All right, and I want to do everything right there where I'm sitting. All right, and I just want to do a prompt, and everything should be executed for me. ChatGPT cannot do that for you. All right, you have to create an agent that can be able to go to your database, query your database, fetch the information, put an Excel sheet, display it for you, even do a dashboard for you. All right, an agent can do that for you. I mean, all right, and you can create as many as you want. So you can imagine that kind of life. So ChatGPT lack memory and real-time interaction capabilities, framework. So if we have framework like Lanche, so there are frameworks that can do this for you. So you don't have to create the mathematical conjunction. Oh, how will I put this together? No, they are frameworks that have done all those edicts for you. You only need to know how to join, how to put those frameworks together. And if you can know how to do a little one or two codes, you can be able to create, start creating agents. Okay, so frameworks like LangChain, there are many of them. We have AutoGen, we have LangChain, we have Llama Index. There are so many of them. All right, but we can't touch all of them. All right, we're going to just touch one framework. So LangChain and LangGraph address these gaps by adding memory, supporting complex workflows, paving the way for truly autonomous, context-aware AI agents. So how does this work? I can decide, say, okay, I want to query a particular website. I want to get that information from that website. I want to query this particular website. There are some websites that ChatGPT will tell you that, no, I don't have access to that website. I can't do that. But you can create an agent that can do that for you. Go fetch this particular database for me, fetch that particular information for me, do this about it, and give me the results. And right there, you have the results. Okay, I mean that's just you education. All right, you can think as a
Hello, Larry. Are you still here? We can't hear you. Can't hear you anymore.
LLMs lack agents for you. Okay, So context makes AI smarter, all right? Because now you have a context. They know what they are working with, okay? And frameworks enable reward AI agents. Like I said, we have frameworks that you can use to kickstart your AI agent building, all right? And there are many of them, okay? So large language models. I'm just going to give you an overview of large language models before we go straight into what we have to do today. So large language models like ChatGPT are trained on vast text data to predict the next word, all right? Enabling them to generate coherent text and perform complex tasks. But like I said the other time, they lack, they operate statelessly without memory, and they are powered by transformer architecture, which uses self-attention to understand words relationship. All right. I don't know if I say I am going to market. It can't be I'm going to the fan. Okay. Fan is a thing. All right. It has to be okay. I'm going to the market, to the school. Okay. It has to be school. So they try to get the next likely word. That's what ChatGPT does for you. It's just a technology. All right. Okay. So it uses self-attention to understand, all right, what word should I pay attention to at what point? Okay, if I said I am going to school, I'm going to the church, I am going to, okay, what other context will tell me it has to be church, it has to be school. All right. That's what ChatGPT does to you. Okay. Please, I want to confirm that you can still hear me and I'm still, you can still see me. All right.
Yes, we lost you
It's
for a
confirmed that.
moment, so you stop sharing your screen. So you have to reshare your screen, please.
Oh, I should share my screen again.
Yes, the network has been terrible. So if you will change to another network, it will be better.
Oh, okay. Please, whenever there is an issue, just let me know immediately, please. I don't have to ask. Thank you.
Okay.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Please, whenever there is an issue, just notify me immediately. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I'm on now, right?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead.
So large language model, like I said, LLMs excel in language generation, but lack memory, tool integration, and multi-step reasoning. All right, they only generate text. They can't do multi-step reasoning. Do this, do that, get it together, put that together. They can't do that. All right, limiting their effectiveness in dynamic and real-world application. Okay, so that brings us to LangChain and LangGraph. All right, we are going to be using LangChain, all right, to do some automation today. Like I said, there are so many frameworks you can use. In fact, you can build your own. Okay, but we're not going to build in our own because we're going to spend a lot of time. All right, so some developers have been so nice and they've think through and they're giving us framework. So your own is just to use it. Okay, so you don't have to start from scratch. All right. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. You can move on.
Hello? Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
So introduction to LangChain and LangGraph. So like I said, agent autonomous AI system that make decisions and perform tasks using tools. That's what they use, using tools. All right. So you can have 50 tools. All right. And you can give it to an agent. And they just say, yes, sir. Okay. I'll do this with this tool. I'll do that with that tool. I'll do this with that tool. And I can get the result of the tool A and tool B, put it together, give the result to tool C. Okay, get the result of tool C, give it to tool E. All right. That's where it thinks. It's reasoning. It's reasoning for you. Your own is just to put those two, give it those two, and give it the prompts and execute it. All right. So they use tools basically. And those tools can be functions. So you can create a function to add two numbers together. And when you add it, divide it by 4. Another tool will do that division. All right. And that tool will do subtraction. You don't have to put all tasks into one function. You can split it. And that's one of the techniques of good code writing. All right. By, splitting your codes into fragments. All right. So that it's light. So one code does one task at a time. Okay. So LangChain is a framework that helps build such agents by combining large language models, prompts, and tools, and APIs to enable intelligent problem solving, such as math calculation, Wikipedia searches, database searches, and the list goes endless. Right. So let's see this picture of how agent works. Okay, so I asked the question, it goes to the LLM, there's a parser that passed the question properly, and we have so many tools here, about 5 of them. Okay, the agent decides, okay, what tool am I using? I'm going to use this, I'm going to use this. All right, and it passes that to the user. So from the LLM, all right, to the tools and to the user. Okay, so don't forget about tools. Very, very important topic in agentic AI. So you can see another picture here. All right, you have a task. It's given to the LLM. LLM reason which tools to use to execute that task. Oh, I have a lot of, you know, a lot of tasks here, a lot of tools here. Okay, one tool is saving the database. All right, so it checks. Oh, okay, I'm going to use this tool. All right, and that tool is used to get the results, and it's passed to the user. Okay, so types of lang chain agents, or let me say types of agents. Okay, and what does reactive agent do? They select and execute tools based on user input without long-term memory. Okay, they don't need to save anything into the memory. You give them prompts, they look for which particular tools to use and execute it, and they give you back. Okay, conversational agents, of course, you should know that one will need memory, because now you are conversing. You might want to ask, oh, I asked you to do something the other time, you did not do it, now do it. So it will need memory, because now they are conversational. Reactive is just like, for example, you push somebody and they say, why do you push me? That's reactive. It's reactive to what you did. So reactive agent, they react to prompts and they give you the result immediately without trying to memorize anything. Okay. Why conversational agents? Okay, they're conversational. All right, you can chat with them, more like they're chat agents. You can chat with them. Okay, do this for me. Okay, get this from that. Okay, after this, do this. Okay, why was this not correct? You are chatting, and they're agentic, mean that they can, as you are chatting with them, they can perform 6, 7 tasks at the same time to give you that result. And it's contextual because you've already placed the tools they should use. It's not like ChatGPT that is just going everywhere, just checking everywhere and just dump it to you. Like, wow. No, this is more contextual. All right, real time. Okay, please confirm you can still see my screen.
Yes, we can still see your screen and you're very clear. So please continue.
Okay. All right. So the next one is planning agents. Okay. What do planning agents do? They break down complex tasks into smaller steps and execute them sequentially. Okay. So that means I can write a whole paragraph of task to a planning agent. And planning agent looks like, wow, okay. Okay, I'll do this first. I'll not do this. I'll not do this. I'll not do this. Okay, to do A, I will need tool A. To do B, I'll have to get the result of C first. All right, so let me go and do C. It does C, give it to A. Then say, oh, I need to do D. All right, so it's planning, okay, based on the prompts. So custom agents, they are designed for specific use case, such as automating workflows. Okay, you can decide to create a custom agent for a chatbot, a health chatbot. Is designed for health. Okay, it knows what document to query to respond to the user for a particular intent. It knows what to do for a particular question. It knows what to search. Okay, it's designed for that specific task. So they are custom agents. So we have reactive, conversational. Like I say, reactive doesn't have to use memory. We are going to do a lot of reactive today. Okay, we can't touch a lot of them. We're going to spend a lot of time here. Okay, so we have conversational, we have planning agents, and we have custom agents. You can always check all these line. So use cases for agents. So what are they? What can I use agent to do? Financial and data analysis. All right. So I can do a data analysis of my database. I don't want ChatGPT to know what is my database. Okay. I can create my own agent to do that. So at every point, I'm getting new data. My agent say, oh, there's a new data. He gets the notification. He checks it. He knows when there is a new data. All right. You can also give it time interval that, okay, at this particular time, always go and check it. You know, it's okay, at every Friday by 9 a.m. I need to check this data. He checks it, executes it for you. All right, analyze it. Okay, today, okay, you've gotten new sales on so books. You have made this profits. You've made this. Why? They are agentic. They know what customer support automation. They know they can respond to customers. Okay, you can create a customer support automation, document process and retrieval. You can create, a RAG agents. All right, retrieval augmented generation agents. RAG agent is an RAG agents can do more. Okay, for example, if I do RAG, I can just say, okay, let my LLM just fetch a particular information from the documents and just output the result to the user. But agents can also be given the task of, okay, when you output it, okay, do this, transform this data into this, okay, do this with this data, okay, uh, add, okay, this particular data to it before you now output it. It can do that. Okay, that's way beyond just RAG. That's agent. You've gone agentic now. Okay, because now you have added multiple tasks. Okay. Wow. So I said use case for agents. Okay, so no, I wanted to say things to note basically. So what are the things to note? Like I said, React agent often follows the pattern, the reason before they act. The reason before they act. They don't need memory. Don't forget, because they're not conversational. But when you want to go conversational, you can build a conversational agents for that. So you have to give them a clear final state. Okay, this is what to do. This is what you output when you get the results. If not, they'll go back to keep reasoning. They'll go back to the loop. Okay, after they've reasoned it for you, they'll keep reasoning. Okay, what if I not do it to it? Okay, I'll not give it. What if I not do this? Because that's what they are built to do. They are built to reason. So you have to tell that, okay, when you are done getting this, return this and let it and just rest there. Okay. So another thing to note. Okay, sorry, this topic is supposed to be things to note, basically. So another thing to note is not all models support tool calling. Like I said, agents use this tool, but not all models can use as that functionality. That is, they have the functionality to call addition function, subtraction function, division function, and do complex, broad mass. No, not all models can do that. All right. Of course, OpenAI model can do that. GPT 3.5, Turbo, GPT 4, they can do that. All right. But I put some link here, so I'm just gonna explore those links before we now go practical. Okay. So let me check this part. So I put a link here. So if you want to know all the tools that support tool calling, that is because what I'm saying is that when you're building agents and you don't know the right models to use, you're going to run into error because peradventure the model you're using doesn't have the capability to be calling multiple tools, and you're wondering why you're stressing me. Okay, I don't have the capability. I'm not OpenAI. I'm not GPT. All right. For example, Llama. If you use Llama will try, but Llama will just be confused at some point. It will be confused. Just start generating things for you because it has not been it's not instructional fine-tuned. They call them instructional fine-tune models. All right. So they are fine-tuned to follow instruction. So Llama does not really have that functionality. So if you use Llama, you get a result, but at some point to start hallucinating, start getting confused. Like, oh, what am I supposed to do? You just be lost. So the more complex your task is, the more you have to understand, oh, what model is fitting for this. So you have to first investigate the model. Okay, so So let's see some list here. So they are giving us some list here. So you can see Anthropic. Anthropic support tool calling, so you can do multiple tools. All right, can give you structured output. Might not get JC mode. All right, output. It support multimodal. Okay, quite then all the models here support to calling. Okay, Perplexity doesn't support to calling. Chat Grok support to calling, but don't forget like Chat Grok uses Grok API. All right, and Grok API of course calls different models like Llama and the rest. So you have to also go into Grok and check which model do they have that supports to calling. So if not, if you just put any model into your pipeline, you just start getting random results. Why? Because the model is not built to perform instruction. So mostly instruction fine-tuned models will do better when it comes to building agentic AI. So another thing also to note, I put another link here. Let me open it for you guys to see. Okay. So this Grok API, okay. So Grok API. So recently Grok released some, some tool calling models like Llama 3 Grok 70B tool use. That's a very long name, but I didn't use it. I'm not sure if it's act for production, sure. But like I said, always investigate the models you are using. It's not about getting excited, but you have to also understand what you are doing. So let's see this one's let me see this. So Olama has quite some tools to use. So you can just go to Olama, just write tool calling. That's what I did. Oh, sorry, I put tool here. So let me correct it. Tool calling. Okay, you can see some models here. So you can see another model here. So all these model can be used for building agentic application. So you have to also understand, because when you are building, you are building with Olama. Okay, like I said, Olama is just like Chat Grok API. It's used to call different models. You have to understand, okay, which model do they have in their uh in their warehouse or wherever, their store, that has tool calling functionality. So you have to understand that. So let's go back to so that's that. So the next thing on our list is exercises. Okay, so we have used almost 33 minutes, so we don't have time, so we have to be very fast. So the first we are going to do is, the first exercise we are going to have is, we have three exercises. Exercise 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the first one is, we are going to build an agent that can fetch information, weather information, real-time weather information, and display the result to us. Like I said, you can also build multi-agent that can take that result and do something with it. All right. But I mean, we have that in exercise 2 and 3. So we're just going to take it very simple first. So the first thing that you can use agents to do, is that agents can call APIs. All right. They can call APIs. GPT cannot call your API. Land language model, an agent to my application. It knows all my APIs. All right. And when there is a query from the user, it knows which API to call to get that result. I mean, it makes things easier. Okay. So the first one is fetch a weather information and display it. The second one is automate database query and save in a file. Okay, so now look at that. I can tell my agent to go into my database, fetch a particular result, save that result in a file, and send that file to Toby. Toby's on the call, or Shalom. All right, and get Shalom response and send it back to me. Wow, Interesting. It just give you that prompt, and I'm just sleeping, and the guy just doing everything. I said, okay, by 6 o'clock, okay, fetch all the results about the order table. Okay, fetch all the results, send it to Toby, and he waits till like 6 o'clock, and I'm there sleeping. Okay, 1 or 2 functions to do this. All right, and you are gonna see it. Just simple functions. Just know the functions to use, know the tool that has ability. If you use Llama, you might start getting some funny results. You have to understand the architecture of that model that will give you the right results. Okay, they are best every time. Okay, but of course, I'm not using GPT here because I don't want to spend money on API. Okay, API. So I have to get. I have to use Chat Grok. Okay, to use Grok API free models. Okay, or free trial models, and the free trial is very, very awesome. Okay, you have over like you can have over like 3,000 requests in a day. Okay, that's very because I know some of you, because right now they used to be like $5. They don't do that again. So if you open a new, if I say, okay, let's open a new account, you can get any credits, and so that's how I have to find an easier way to get this done. So the easier way is to use free models. I know all of us like free things, right? Nigerians, we like free things. So let's go straight. Okay. So I want to assume that some of us are probably with our laptops. Okay. Don't worry, we are gonna give you guys this code. Okay. We're gonna give you guys this code. We're gonna push it to GitHub. You guys are gonna have access to it, and you can always run it on your own. But it's very, very simple. I'm just gonna explain and break it down for you. So the first thing you want to do, okay, building agentic AI with Python is number one, of course, you get your coding editor, all right? You create your environment. You can see my environment here, my virtual environment, okay? Um, Install all these libraries. Oh no, don't install library. Hope nobody saw that. Okay, so install this library. You can see it. LangChain core, LangChain community. Okay. LangChain Grok. We have Google search results. We have all these. Just install all these. Okay. Then after that, let's go to exercise 1. Now, exercise 1, as we have it here, the first thing I want to do. So there are two ways to achieve this. Okay. LangChain has a function called tool. Okay, more like a decorator. I mean, there was no decorator in Python. Very easy. If I want a particular function to do something, to have a particular functionality, I just put this as tool here. Okay, so the tool, it tells Python that, okay, this function is a tool. It's not just a normal function now use. So what is this tool doing? You have to. Can you hear me? Hello?
Your line was breaking for a bit earlier.
Was it long?
For a short while. I think you can continue.
Okay. I hope people can still hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. So like I said we are using LangChain here. Okay. And so first of all, before I move further, I want to know if there's any question. I'll just like 2-3 minutes for question. If there's any question, I can answer them now before I move to the exercise. Is there any question? Okay. If there's no question, I'll just move on. All right. So, like I said, the first thing you want to do is your is to build all, to know all your libraries. So we're going to be installing LangChain, LangChain Core, LangChain Community, LangGraph, LangChain Grok, and all these ones. Okay. Then.
Hi, Larry. I'm
Yeah, I can
sorry
hear
to
you.
stop you. Can you please zoom in your screen a bit? Folks on YouTube are finding it difficult to see clearly, see the code clearly. Is that possible? Yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Okay, I hope this is better. Okay.
Yes, this is much better.
All right, so let me put it as F. Okay, this is just exercise 1. So the first thing we did is to install our libraries. Okay, install our libraries. Then create a file called exercise 1. Import all those libraries. Okay, you are importing tool, initialize agent, SQL database. You're importing your, some of you guys are scholars, you know these things, all right? But of course, you're importing your libraries. Very simple, okay? I want to silence every warning. I don't want to see warning. You know, some of this library, they show some warning, so silence them. Like I said, this decorator has been imported here. You can see this is here, okay? And I put that decorator. It tells me that this function is now a tool for an agent. So the first thing you want to do is to give a description. I mean, this is just a normal Pythonic way of writing codes. You have to give a description for your functions. All right, but now agentic AI will teach you how to do that. So the first thing you want to do is, what is that function doing? You have to, because this is what the agents will read. To know, oh, okay, I have to use this to do this. Okay. So fetches the current weather for a specified city. Okay, that's what that function is doing. Number 2, I want to go and fetch that weather information from a site, a remote site. You have to give it a URL. And the way that URL is function is, it can take the name of that city. Every other thing remains the same. Okay. So for some of you that saw my API key, I will delete everything after this meeting. Okay. All right. Request. So the next thing you make a request to this site. Okay, you make a request to this site. All right. If that request is not successful, show this error. It's as simple as that. If it's successful, get me the results. Get me the temperature. All right, because it's a nested dictionary, so I have to get the temperature. Okay. Then the condition: is it raining? Is it misty? Is it cloudy? All right. That data has those information. So I want to fetch that information too. Like I said, it's a nested dictionary. I will get it from this value, and I will output it. So the agent will read this and execute this function. That is one. I put that function name into a list. Like I said, I can give my agent as many lists of functions as I want to give it. Okay. So you call initialize agent. Initialize agent is a ready-made agent for you from LangChain. All right. Initialize it. Give it the tools. Don't forget, the tools have to be in a list. All right. This guy, you can see it's plural. It has set a list of tools. So don't give it one. If you give it one, to throw error. A list of tools. Even though it's just one tool, make sure that it's in a list. All right. What model are you calling? Now let me explain about the model. I didn't put the model here. I put the model in another script. So okay. So the model I'm using is Chat Grok. I showed you that time. Chat Grok. All right. There are many of them. You have Chat OpenAI. I'm not going to use OpenAI here because of API keys. I don't want anybody to be bothered about API keys. Oh, I have to be very fast. Okay. So you call it, of course, you call it from LangChain. Give it the model. So I have a list of models here because, like I said, you have to understand the model you're using. Okay, I'm using this first one. You can see it has instructs because it's instruct fine-tune. Okay, it's fine-tuned to understand instruction, basically. Okay, if I use Llama here now, Llama 3, it will do it, but at a point you start getting confused. Okay, because it's not trained. It's trained to generate text like GPT. Okay, so all this one was not. I'm not sure this one's Grok has released these guys, so we're just using these ones. Okay. All right. So after doing that, of course, my API key, you have to put your Grok API key. Very free. Grok is very generous with their APIs. Okay, with their free trial, very generous. So you put it there, and you call it into this guy. So I call it. You can see I import it. I'm importing it here. So you don't say how did I get LLM. So I'm importing it here. Okay. After doing that, what is my query? I want to know the sum. Okay, let me not start with sum first. Should I start with sum? Okay, let me first this first one. Let me start simple. So I say I want to know this. Oh, I'm putting some here. Okay, I want to know the weather. Let me just put. I want to know the weather in New York City, basically, just like that. Okay, I want to know the weather in New York City. So let's see how our agent is able to execute that. So let's go now and run that. So don't forget you have to activate your virtual environment. Okay, it's already activated, but for some of you, please have to activate. I'm using Linux. Okay, so I'm not using Windows here. Just using the WSL. Okay, so now let's run our query now. So just do Python. Okay, and what's the name of the file? Exercise 1. Okay, let's see what that will give us. So let's wait. Okay, so you can see my input is I want to know the weather in New York City. And look at it. The weather in New York City is what? 16 degrees Celsius with condition, that's mist condition. Okay. So don't forget, it's fetching this real time. It's fetching this real time. Okay. Now you can say, oh, yeah, I know some LLM can do this. Okay, yeah, they can do this. But let me tell you something. When it comes to some personal information, okay, this is where this excels a lot. Things that OpenAI, all the open LLM out there don't have access to. Okay, so imagine this is probably your company database and other kind of things you want to fetch, you want to do a lot of things. It can execute that for you. So let me now go to. So I want to understand if you guys. I want to know if you guys understand this. Very simple. Okay, very simple. Okay, your weather, your function. Give it this decorator to make it understand that is a tool. All right, so that when I put it here and when I feed it to the initialized agent, it understands that is a tool. Okay, and it uses that to execute the information. So let's see something. Let's play around a bit. So let's say I want to know the sum of weather in New York City. Let me give it. Let me see if I can give it this. If I can give it variables first. Let me see. Okay. Let us see how it's executing that. Okay. You first get the weather city in New York. You can see that. Get the weather city in Lagos, 2021. Okay. It's foggy. Is it foggy? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So look at that. Look at that. Okay. So the weather city in New York is this. It goes ahead to get the weather city in Lagos. Lagos is foggy. All right. And look at that. The sum of the temperatures in New York City. Okay, I didn't even mention temperature, so smart enough to know that I mean temperature. New York City and Lagos is 37. Okay. So don't forget that is calling a live, is not making up this information. All right, is calling a live API to get this information. Okay, so I want to be sure that you guys are getting that. So let's go to our next exercise because of time. Okay, let me run exercise 2. This is more deeper. Okay, so here now I am doing database querying. Okay, so I have my database. Okay, I'm not going to show you my API key. Okay, all right, I have my database, my Postgres database that I've set up, and I have some data on it, quite some data on it. Okay, one of the table is users. All right, and the users table have a lot of data in it. So I want to know how many data data is contained in the users table. So what do? Don't forget, you have to create your tool. So there are 2 ways to create your tool. You either put that as tool here, okay, to make, what am I doing here? To make the LLM understand this is a tool, or I can remove it and come here and call this tool, this capital T here. Don't forget, both of them, you call them from the same library, LangChain tools, okay? So you can, this one is the decorator, this one is like a function. Do you get? So you can either use this or this. So if I use this as tool, if I put it here, okay, I don't have to do this again. I don't have to use this again. They both do the same thing. So I just did those two so you can see the difference. All right. So now I create my function. Look at the function. The function, the first thing I did was get my Postgres URL, which is connected to my database. Initialize it. All right. After doing that, okay, create a function that can run SQL queries, any SQL query, anything. I don't have to tell my agent that this is the do select star from no. The moment I just give it natural prompt, you understand that okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. It queries it out. Okay, so this is it. All right. After that, don't forget I say you can also use this. Either use decorator or use this. Give it the name. You can see here, I didn't have to put description. But yeah, I put description. All right, because I'm using this as decorator, because after this point, it goes straight to the what? To the agent. But yeah, it can go from the function to this tool function, where I now give it the name and the description. This description is very, very important because this is what tells the agent what that function is doing, just the way we have it here. So there are 2 ways to go about it. So I purposely did that so that you guys can understand how to go around that. Okay. So I said execute SQL or Postgres queries and retrieve results from, and retrieve results. This is an error from the, okay, just receive results. This one is fine. Okay. All right. So after that, I create, you can see another way I did that. Okay. So after that, I put it into this. Of course, you see that I put it. So I create another function again. Okay. I create another function. This time I use the decorator. Don't forget, I can either use the decorator or create the function, then wrap it inside this tool with capital T. Either way you want to do it. So I did it in the 2 ways. So now I create the decorator. I give it description. Read the content of the file. All right. So then I also create another decorator. So this function is only reading content from a file. So any content that's in a file, it reads and outputs it. That's what this is doing. Okay. This tool, what does it do? Okay. It takes a content, all right, and put it into a file. All right. If that file doesn't exist, it creates the file and it put that content into it. Okay. So what am I trying to do here? I'm saying that after you have queried the database, put it into this, run this, write it into this file, write into a file by calling this function, because this function, don't forget, it executes a function. All right, it executes a query and put that query into a file. That's what it does. You can see it's calling this clean and run SQL function here. This is it. It's calling this. Okay, so it's calling this to do that as to execute the query. All right, and write it into a file. If that file doesn't exist, it creates that file right there in front of you. Okay. So I have 3 tools here. You can see the first exercise, I have only 1 tool. Okay, because I'm trying to start very simple. So I have SQL tools, I have read file, I have this. So please confirm you can still see my screen.
Yes, we can still see your screen.
Okay. So now I put these tools into initialize agents. So don't forget, you can also use land graph, all right? But because of time, we're not going to land graph. We're going to start with this, all right? I mean, this is a very good step into other aspects of agentic AI building. So I put those set of tools into this. I set verbose to true. Why? Because I want to see what is happening. But you know, even in production, you might not want to add this. But I just add this because I want to see how it's reasoning. Okay. Now, I call it by invoking. Okay. So I said, how many users are there in the database, and write it to a file. So he understands. I'm not telling it what SQL query to do. He understands SQL query. All right. LLM understands SQL query. They are smart enough to do that. Okay. So the moment I say how many users, he knows I'm supposed to do select star from users table. Okay. And which tool can do that? It goes, he goes there, he say, this tool can do it. Of course, it checks. But this tool has been embedded into this guy. Okay? Since it's embedded here, I don't instruct myself. Let me just call this one alone. This one will take the query, execute this, bring the result, and pass that result into a file. You can see, opens a file and writes that result into that file. Okay? So let's see if that is smart enough to execute that. So let's go now. So I'm going to open my tab. Python exercise 2. Let's see how that plays out. Okay. Good. Done. Right. Let's see. You can see it has created that file for me. This is the folder. I have the folder here. All right. It created that result for me. This is the result of the query. 28. So I have 28 rows. Awesome. Just the way SQL will return the result for you. So what does it do? It comes here, all right, and create this file with this name. If it doesn't exist, it's create. If it exists, it will just write that file. All right, but does it exist? It create it and it write the result, and we all can see the results. Okay, so I hope you guys are understanding how this works. So you can see this is my own database. Okay, this is my own database. Okay, I just created a demo database, a demo Postgres database. I put some data into it, all right, and I give it, and I initialize the URL, yeah, or using SQL database. And next, this SQL database is also a library from LangChain. So LangChain has everything you need to use to start building quite some cool agentic AI. All right. So you can see, if I go to ChatGPT and say, oh yeah, how many users is in the database? Of course, ChatGPT will hallucinate because first of all, it doesn't know which database is talking about. But of course, it doesn't want to leave you blank. It will give you to hallucinate the result for you. But this understands because I've already given it the tool to use. So it goes there, fetches, it counts it. You understand? It counts it and it's right into this file. The same way I can say, okay, analyze the database for me, or the table user or the user table. All right, and it gives me it analyzes for me, breaks down. Okay, it has this row, it has a number, it has this number of male, this number of female. It checks it. You know, this is my own personal data because I don't want it to be out. Okay, so that is it. And we are using models. Okay, that's we are not using OpenAI. Okay, that will cost you money. You understand? So you can start building something like this right there. So this is just to show you what you can do. There are endless things you can do. All right. I can say, okay, I can create a time here, a time function that will say, okay, or a daytime function that will say, okay, by 9 a.m. today, execute this. All right. As long as my system is on to do it. And I just to do it. Okay. So that's the way it works. So you can build quite a lot of things. All right. Deploy it. If the server is live, things can happen on their own, automated, without you interacting with anything. Okay. So the next one, this one is quite a bit long. Okay. Quite a bit long. So I hope you are ready for that. Okay. So for you to do this, you need to get quite some, just few tokens. GitHub, you need to open your GitHub token. So how do you do that? I will not show everything, because some people's eyes are very smart to catch APIs. So you just go to your, okay, no, don't let me open my repository. You go to your GitHub and check that. Okay, I'm not going to open my repository. But I mean, you guys should know how to get your GitHub token. Okay. So after that, you can go and check. You can create your header, just create all these kind of things. Not quite, I mean, just quite simple. You set this in your environmental table, okay? Put this in your token, okay? And set all this, okay? Give it a base URL. This is normal base GitHub URL. If I open this now, what does it open for me? Oh, it opened this. Oh, okay. Interesting. So this the base URL. You give it your GitHub token and give it your headers. The authorization is token. Okay, just set all these three variables. Now let's go into the function. So what I want to do is that I want to automate a GitHub search. You understand? So first of all, I can say, okay, at every point in time, I want to search a particular GitHub. Okay. I want to search for a particular issue on a GitHub. So this is more like you are doing more like exploratory, exploration on a particular site. So yeah, in this case, we are using GitHub. So this function searches for repositories. So you give it a query, it searches for that repository, all right, and it returns the name, the full name, all right, of that repository, more like the information of that repository. That's what that does. Okay, so this does, what does this do? This also does like a detail. It gets the details of a repo, of a GitHub repo. Okay, you give it the base, of course, the base, this is the URL, which will contain the GitHub base, API base, all right, and the repo name. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can still hear you and we are following you.
Okay. So this just a normal, I mean, request does get function. So request does get the URL, all right, passing the headers. Of course, you have to pass in the token because GitHub is an authenticated site, so you have to pass in the headers, okay, which will contain your own GitHub token. Okay. All right. So the next one is create issue. I want to get all the issues on that GitHub, all the issues that people are pasting on that GitHub, repo. Okay. So get all the issues for me. That's what this does. What does this do? This lists it out. It lists all the issues. So I put that, so I put it into this too. You can see, because I didn't put arts here. Okay, I didn't do like this. I didn't do this. Okay, since I didn't do that, I had to wrap it into this guy. I had to wrap it into this and give it a proper description. Okay, so you can see the first one, search repository. What does it do? So these two, it takes the name variable, the function they are calling, and description. So what's the description? Search for GitHub repositories using a keyword. Okay, the next one. Get details of a specific GitHub repository. Okay, input formats. Just get details. So when I give you this kind of format, it get the details of that repository for me. Okay, this one, create issue. So you can see I can create an issue. So I don't have to go to the GitHub to go and create the issue. So maybe I was trying to use a particular library and I'm having issue of that library. From my local computer, I can create the issue straight up. I can automate it. Do you get? So that means at every point I'm having an error on a library, I can create an agent that can just report it straight up. Okay? I don't have to go there and start creating the issue. The tool can do that for me. So the next one is GitHub list issues. List open issues in a GitHub repository. So this one can create issues, all right, that I'm having over a particular library that I'm using. So maybe I'm using the math library of Python. And when I was trying to use math.random, I was getting an error. I can just from here, if I know the repo, just create my issue from here. Okay. Now, this one also lists issues that are occurring on a particular repo, issues that people have reported. So let's say, for example, now let's go to LangChain. LangChain, because some people here are very smart. So LangChain GitHub repo. So let's see how many issues they have. Oh, they have a lot of issues. They have 264 that people have reported. I can get the breakdown of these issues, right, using agents. I can also report issues without having to come here and do, okay, new issue. I don't have to do all this manual work. Okay, I can create the issue right there with my agents. So I can just have it there. To make I have an issue, I just call the agent and agent report it for me straight up. I don't have to come here. Okay. These guys have let's see what other information they have. They have over 107,000 stars. So let's see if you can create an agent that can do that for us. Okay, let's see what an agent can do for us here. So I put all those tools into this list. Okay. Of course, and I'll give it to this agent. Don't forget, agent uses tools. So when you have created your tools, you have to give it to an agent. It's agent that will execute it for you. You can set variables to false or true. This variable just means tell me, I want to see your thought pattern. Just give me the final answer. Let me see how you are thinking. All right, your thought process. I want to see it. So the first thing I want to do is I say get details about this repository, LangChain AI/LangChain. So I don't have to come here and do this and start checking. Okay, well, how many forks they have, how many star they have, how many issues they have, how many that's and this. I can just come here, okay, and just do this. So the minute I do this, let's see what's going to give us. Exercise 3. Okay, we have to be very fast now. So let's see what's going to give us there. Okay, that's gotten the... Okay, so you can see, he was able to fetch this guy using request.get. Okay, what was he thinking about? I have successfully retrieved the details of this LangChain. Now I know the final answer. So what does it do? So it just fetches the stars that are there. You can see 107,000. It gets the description. So I can also give it more content. I can say, okay, get me the issues. Get me this, get me that. All right. I can list all the things I want to get about that repo. And it just fetches that because I just said details. He assumed I just needed the name, description, and the star, which exactly is what I put here when I said, so let's see this. Get repo. You can see full name, description, stars, okay, and the repo, okay, URL. And that's exactly what it did here. Okay, it gave me the full name, the repo name, description, and the star. So let's see if that star is correct. 107,489. You can see 107,000. It gave me the exact star they have. So I was able to do that. Well, that's agentic AI for you. You know, I might have to open this now to check. Okay, this is approximation. Okay, so you can see. So let's see what else we can do. We can do with that. Let me open it again. Let me find an query. Let me see. Let me go back here. What other things what other tools do I have here? Okay, I said list. Okay, now. So let's say something here. Let's say get details about the repository. Okay. Then let's see if we can just list the issues. It has. Or list the issues. Let's see. Well, I don't know. It's gonna work. Just trying things out. Oh, okay. It's gonna work. Okay, let's try it. Oh, wow, interesting. Okay. Let's gonna list it and stop. Okay, do you have details of the list? Do you have details of the issues? I want to see the issues. Okay, so let's do something. Let me break that. Let me put, like I said, I mentioned something here. I mentioned something that you guys should note here. I said, so I'm using React agent, basically. Don't forget, we have 4 types of agents. We have reactive agents. They react to queries. We have conversational agents, more like chat-like. We have planning agents. We have custom agents. What I'm using here is React agents. And React agents, they can fall into a loop if you don't give them the time, if you don't give them what to look out for to exit that loop. So I said React agents often follows the pattern reasoning plus acting. They can keep going, reasoning plus acting, reason again, act, reason again, act, because they have not really gotten what to see to stop that loop. So you have to either force it, okay, or give them something to watch out for to stop. Okay, so I'm gonna just put a force here because of let me see what I can do here. Okay, let me just put system. It might not work for 10. Let's see. Okay, let me pause here. Okay, so let's see if it's gonna stop because it has almost fallen into a loop. Okay. Okay. Don't worry about those warnings. Can be silenced. Okay. Did it stop? Oh, it didn't stop. Okay. You've gotten it already. You've gotten the issues. Okay. Okay. I think it's almost getting to a loop. Let me stop it. I'm gonna do that now. Okay. So I'll stop that. Let me just stop that so it doesn't stop us. Let me open a new panel. Where's my panel here? Where's my panel now? My terminal, where are you? Oh, my view. Oh, terminal is there. Oh, okay. All right, so let me go back. Just do VM. Oh, sorry. This source VMV being activates. Okay, please confirm you can still see my screen.
Yes, we can still see your screen.
Okay. So Quite a number of things you can do. Okay, so let me just recap. Number one, you can get the weather information, which we already demoed for you guys. All right, right from an API. So you can have like 10 APIs that you can call with your agents. Okay, this is just like a simple example. Number two, I mean, we saw that demo here. It's read my database, okay, and it read into a file, okay, and it gives me this information. I can decide to ask it to see information into a table for me. It does that, okay, and that's one of the power of agentic AI. Okay, ChatGPT doesn't have access to my database, but I can create an agent that has access to my database. Okay, I can create an agent that have access to quite some personal things and begins to automate tasks for me. Okay, and number three, I create an agent that have access to a remote repo and fetch information from there for me. Okay. So number one thing you have to understand, I also mentioned, is reactive agents can fall into a loop, which you have to also determine. You have to know how to tell them when to stop. Okay. That means when you return this guy, just exit that loop. I think I did it for one of these guys here. It's why when you have a number of tasks that they have to perform in just a statement. Okay. And one of the things of, so if I was using, hello.
Let's round up in like 5 minutes, please, so we
Yeah,
can take.
sure. We are enough. Right enough. Okay, so one of the things, one of the drawbacks of not using using some models that are not well fine-tuned for instruction, all right, or to calling, is that you might it might start hallucinating because it's not trained to follow instructions. So, like I said, one of the things you have to do is you have to understand the kind of models you are using. All right, the kind of models you're using, understand the task you want to perform, know the function that can do that kind of task, and put everything together and give it to an agent. All right, and I mean, just practice. Okay, you can practice and go into multimodal, do quite a lot of things. All right, the the task is endless. All right, the possibilities are endless. This agentic generative AI. Okay, so I think we can put it to rest here, and we'll open the floor for questions. Yeah. So, do we have any question?
So thank you so much for taking us through this enlightening session, Mr.
Thank you.
Larry. I learned a lot today, and I'm sure all our viewers on YouTube also gained a wealth of knowledge today. So we have someone in the chat session that asked a question,
Okay.
and I read so. Why don't you use prompt, sir, instead of hard coding? That's the question.
Why don't we use what?
Prompt instead of hard coding.
Hard coding. What does it mean by where did I hard coded? Okay. Why did I use prompts? Okay, you mean prompts here?
Yes.
Okay.
He's asking, why don't you use prompts, sir, instead of hard coding?
Okay. I'm trying to understand the question because I'm trying to understand what you mean by instead of hard code. Why did I hard code? Why this is so the only so now the thing there is that let me try to understand what he meant by that. So if you mean this by prompt, this is the prompt you are giving to your agents. Okay, so there's no hard coding. The coding that is done here is just the tools that you built, basically. Okay, those are the tools that you built. All right, and that's what is fed into the agents. Okay, and this is your prompt. Of course, you can do several prompts. You can do it in a loop so that it can become a chart. All right, but this is not just today's class will not cover that. Okay, so we just have to do a simple query and just give it to the just invoke a simple query. Okay, you can build this into a chart that you can constantly chat, I mean, the agent on different questions. All right, so when you say add coding, I don't understand what you mean by add coding. Okay, because everything that is coded here are just the tools basically that you give to the, you can see. So here we have 3 tools, 1, 2, 3. And that's what was, okay, was built and given to the LLM or the agent rather. And after that is the prompts. So I don't mean what you mean by prompts, hard coding. Okay, of course, there are prompt templates. You can still do some prompt templates. So maybe you mean by prompt templates. So instead of, okay, maybe you mean by, instead of writing functions, why not just give it prompt template? No, you don't do that. If that's what you meant, okay, you, functions are your tools that agent uses to execute task. And that's what you have to write. You have to write that. They are like instructions, okay, because agents follow instructions, and that's what you have to code. That's what you have to write. And the rest, you just begin to use natural language to query the, I mean, we just said how many users, and it's able to understand that it needs to write a query. I didn't code the query, but it does that for me. Okay, so that's that. Okay, you can see, yeah, I just gave it how to run the query, but what query to write is the element that will determine that. Okay, so there's no hard coding here. The hard coding that is done here is the tools that you have to build. Okay, I hope that answers your question. So next question, is there any question again?
That is all for now. So
Okay.
I want to say, okay. Another question just came in. Can we build agentic AI like this using Google Colab?
Yeah, of course, definitely. Okay, you can do. If I would have used Google Colab, all right, but because of my some secret keys, that's why I didn't use it, and there was no time for me to start setting up the environment. Okay, that's why I didn't use that. So you can use Google Colab, but if you want to go into production, like you want to really do a production ready agentic AI, of course, you can't do production from Google Colab. All right, you have to bundle your codes together. All right, Dockerize it, do those kind of things. All right, so you want to have, you want to have your files in structured folders. The way you build normal, okay, normal application. Okay, so but you can't do that. You don't have that freedom. Google Colab is just used for testing, just test running. Okay, which some of things we are still doing here. We can take this and do that in Google Colab. All right, just test running. Okay, but when it comes to production ready, you want to have your codes in fragmented format like this in different folders. Just like, for example, I have my model here, okay, in a particular file. I have my .env, okay. I have my prompt templates in a separate file, okay. I have my requirements. These are the things that can go into production, okay. I can Dockerize this now and push it, okay. Push it to, Docker Hub, or push it to production or AWS and launch it. But you can't launch from your GitHub, okay, because the idea is to build a production-ready agentic AI, not just something I just put on Google Colab there and it's just there, as just a child's play. But of course, you want to do that, play around, okay, but you also want to look at the production-ready. So you can do that on Google Colab. If it's still development, you can do all this on Google Colab, all right? But when it comes to production, you want to have a proper, ID like this, okay? Another question?
Yeah, just the last one. Last one I would take. Instead of coding, is there a way to write only prompts and the agent will generate the codes?
Okay, that's a very good question. Okay, yeah, sure, definitely. So, I have one that I did like that. Okay, that it can write. For example, what I have here now, where I wrote a code of the code to save the result into this file. Okay, you can build an agent that can just build this code for you and execute that same function. All right, this is just to show you things that you can do. All right, you can explore. Okay, you can try that out. But I've done something like that before. It will write the function to execute that particular task. Okay, as long as you have all the materials there to write the function, execute it, and do it. So you can do that. You can explore it. Okay, you can explore it.
Okay,
So
one
it's
final
possible.
question. Can agents extract key financial data from a document?
Definitely. Okay, so what I did here, like I said, this is just a fragment of the possibility of things you can do. Okay, so what I did here, was it in this guy? Yeah. So what I did here is this is my own database. Okay, this is my own remote database. It's hosted on Vercel. Okay, I bring it here and I ask it to get. I mean, I just said how many users are database. I didn't need to tell it use this kind of query. It knows the query to use. It goes to that Vercel database, execute the query, and give me the results in just a simple way. Where is that file again? Yeah. All right, just a simple way. Okay, if it's a financial document, or maybe an Excel sheet, I can also tell you to do that. All right, go to documents, analyze it, break it down, give me in a tabular format, and save that file in a particular. I mean, you can do that. This is just a simple example. Do you get it? So you can explore. All right. I will ask a question. So the first question that the person asks, that's the second person, that instead of coding, can you write it? Can you give it those prompts? Yeah, you can give it those prompts. Okay. All right. But sometimes you also want to guide your agent on some specific things to do. All right. You have to understand the capacity of the model you are using. And that's one thing. Okay. Let me show you that model we are using here. Okay. If you're using OpenAI is very strong to do some things. It can write some codes by itself, execute it through those prompts. But if you're using if you're using model like Llama, you also want to be you have to be very careful of the capacity of that model. You understand? So if you can explore, I mean, just try it. Llama can do it fine. Okay. Yes, but I believe OpenAI can do that. Okay. So instead of writing coding some functions, give some prompts, it can design that function itself and execute it and give you the results. You can still do that. But you have to understand the strength of the model that you're using. Okay? Is that all?
I think this is the final one. Is it possible for someone without coding knowledge to use agentic AI?
Oh, now I understand where people are going to coding. Oh, sorry. Maybe I scared you with all this coding. Okay. Yeah, it's possible. Okay. Very, very possible. There are open source tools, all right, out there that you can just drag and drop tools. All right. I think OpenAI has some. Okay. I think AutoGen has some. Okay. Yeah, you can just explore open source tools that you can use to, I mean, low code basically. If you search Google, low code tools to build agents, you get it there. All right. But one of the advantage of doing this is you are able to customize what you want, where you want it to be, how you want it to go. You understand? So you are able to customize it yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So, and if you have a strong model you're using, you might not even write some codes. Okay, you might just use some prompts, and it can do that for you. Right? But if you're using a weak model, like Mistral, like Llama, you might have to write some functions yourself because it's not strong enough to do that. It might fail at some point. All right, because it's not fine tuned to carry out that kind of intense instruction. You understand? So you also want to test run your model first before you start using. But of course, there are open source models that you can explore. Open source tools you can explore. Low code tools you can explore online. All right. So you don't have to code all these kind of things. All right. So you don't have to be scared. There are different ways to achieve this. Okay. Yeah. Is that all?
Yes, thank you so much. I'm sure we all learned
right.
a lot from Mr. Larry today. We had 3 full exercises, so I'm sure we can all go back and like retry the steps he made, retry the code, and also the code will be shared with you, and some quizzes will be made available based on this masterclass. So watch out for that. I want to thank everyone so much for being here, and have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.